Hey guys, this is Paul from Smart Easy DIY. Welcome to episode 3 of my garage build. This episode is about digging in the electrical line. As you can see, it worked out good here where I got it roughed in. So let's get started. Okay, so now for the electric, you can see where my outdoor panel box is right over there. So I'm gonna be digging that in along the edge of the parking lot and then coming this way. I was gonna do that corner over there, but there's a huge rock right in there. It's very rocky. So I chose this corner instead. So I want to put my panel box in this wall because there's going to be a garage door here. So I want to put my panel box in this wall and I'm going to bring it in a couple feet into the building here. So you just have to pick whatever you want like that. So there I'm right lined up with the string, and so I can figure out my 1.5 inches if I want for there. I want to have the electric end up in a stud bay. So you can see the stud layout 16, 32, 48. I'm thinking I want to bring it maybe right in somewhere in here. So somewhere about 40 inches. You know, there's so much variation here. This will be just fine. So we're going to go somewhere right in here. Now this one I do want to end up in a wall. I want that to end up inside of a wall there. So we'll double check that once we get it dug and stuff, but that will give me something to shoot towards. Okay, so today is the day I'm going to start digging in the electrical from my external panel box there all the way down here to where the garage side is going to be. I got about 120 feet or so, I think. So unlike most places in the country, we can't drive our ground bars 8 feet in the ground here, so I was able to lay them out in the ditch right here, and I discovered them, we saved them. We're going to reuse them when we do the ditch, but that's how we have to do it and how we're going to do it over there too. Just to clarify, because I'll probably get some questions about these ground bars, ground stakes, whatever you want to call them. So it's too rocky here, we can't drive them straight down, so that's why those are laying in the ditch. So when the electric company put the power in from the transformer there, they had me just put 2 of them in the ditch there, but it wasn't enough grounding. So they had me add 2 more back in here, going in this direction. At the time, I didn't know I was going to do a garage out there. You just lay them in the ditch and separate them as far apart as you can based on how much ground wire you have. So that's what that's all about. And I'm probably going to do the same thing when I run it into the garage over there. You'll see me do that later on in the video. So I just wanted to kind of share the process of how that works. I was going to show you really quick what my outside breaker looks like. Never mind my poor box there. I'm going to run it conduit in there. So I have a spare 100 amp breaker right here. So time to start digging. Alright, so as you can see from the time lapse, got it all dug. I had some problems when I got close into the building here. That is a big rock. I was able to chip some of it off right there, but I hit some pretty bad rocks for the last probably 20 feet. About where that guy sits, which he's about 2 foot by 2 foot. He was right smack dab in the ditch, but he came out. But this one right here, there's a real ledge in there. I can't get it, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be close enough. Maybe I can get in closer to the corner, 1 bay closer than what I was planning, just to try to get it. But so what I did here, you can see I had the dirt piled here, but I decided to move it so I could put my string up to see exactly where I'm at. So I just had to move it to make sure that there's a little bit of play in it, so it's not rubbing anywhere. So yeah, I might only get about 2 stud bays in from the corner instead of 3 or 4 like I was planning to, because that rock is not going anywhere. You can see it goes all the way around the side of that ditch, and it's super thick. Otherwise, the ditch turned out really good. I went at least 4 feet deep. I think more like 5 feet overall. But this is also going to get driveway over top of it yet, so it'll probably be about 6 feet time I'm all done. Alright, so we got our wire stretched out here. So, got it in the ditch here. I'll show you a little bit of what we did. There's many different ways of doing this. You can either run the wire as you go, run it through the conduit, slip the conduit over and walk it over, which we decided we're going to do since it's not a huge run. I don't really like pulling wire with a rope, but you can do that. A lot of electricians will just run the conduit and then they'll use a shop vac on the end and pull the rope through and then pull it through with the rope, but you can do that. You can also run a rope as you run the conduit, which I've done before. Never mind the mess here, but what I decided to do, we got it started here, but I'm just going to run a 10-foot piece at a time as we go. So what I was gonna show you really quick, we got this run in here. So this is the panel box, is gonna go right up here on the 100 amp breaker. So I just got it running here for now. I had this outlet right here that runs some stuff, and I put it back in place after this was done. But I ran 1.5 inch conduit, which is way plenty for this. And then just ran it all the way down there. So yeah, my ditch is probably about 5 feet deep. So that's pretty good. So I was gonna show you here, I put one of these slip joints in for expansion, contraction, just like on the big wires, how they have that coming in. So just to show you a little bit what I did there. All right, so we're getting ready to run a section of conduit all the way through there. So I got my buddy helping me. So what we're gonna do is just feed this through here. Got to make sure we turn it the right way. And then we're just gonna get it good and started here. And this works really good if once he's got it over there. Okay, now that it's through, now stand on it, buddy. There you go.
Or sit on it.
Or sit on it, just don't let it get away from you. Because by him sitting on it, or you can put a big rock on there if you need to, then I can just walk with it. I don't have to keep feeding it. I can just walk with it. And then it's really not that big a pain to do this. All you gotta do is just as fast as you can walk. So I just chose to go this route instead of trying to do a rope and stuff. I've done that before, like I said, and I kind of just wanted to get away from that this time around. So just get it close here. I got some gray PVC cement. Some people don't glue these, I don't think, but I like to. Try to make sure it's not too dirty from before. Put it on nice and generously. Once you got it started, then you can just do it. And I like to turn the pipe a little bit so it smears the glue around evenly. Now we can go back and do it again. Okay, so as you can see, we got the wire roughed in here. So what I ended up having to do, I hit a really bad rock here, which I think I talked about earlier in the video. So there was no way to get it out. It's super big. In order to get this where I want it to be, you can only bend these so much. Sometimes you can torch them a little bit in the middle, get them to bend. I don't really need to do that because it's going to get deep outside of the building. What I'm going to do is just kind of block it up, get some dirt underneath there to support it. And then this, I'm just going to pack it in straight when I get to it. These have a little bit of flex to them, as you can see, especially in this distance. And so I just got some rocks there kind of holding it temporarily. So yeah, what I'm going with is try to get this in between two stud bays from the corner. So when I do my wall layout, that's what I'm going to shoot for. Hopefully that's going to work out. And then I'm going to shoot to be right inside the wall with this. Now, you remember how I set this string out 1.5 inches to accommodate my foam? So the center of the wall is going to be about where this pipe is, because it's actually going to start about here, then it's going to go another 5.5. So I'm going to try to put this right in the center of the wall, as close as I can. Okay, so I'm going to hook up the ground rods. I just got some ground wire like this, just number 8 bare copper wire. And I got a roll of 25 feet. I'm going to tape it to the conduit for now, just for when the concrete's poured. And then I'm going to run it out and do those 2 copper rods there. Just put them in the ditch and fasten to those. You can see here where I'm hooking up the ground wire. This is just temporary while the concrete's being poured. All this is temporary. Well, I mean, the panel's going to go here, but I don't know exactly where, so I'm just running everything long. And then running the ground wire down through here. And so in my case, I'm going to put some ground bars in the ditch here because, like I said, it's so rocky here. We can't drive an 8-foot rod into the ground. So the way they get around that is they have you put 2 ground rods in a ditch, space them out as far as you can. So in this case, I'm going to put one as far out this way as I can and attach it here, and then run one as far this way as I can. So that way we have pretty much continuous 16 feet of grounding surface. So this is just a ground rod clamp. So you can see how they just adjust like that. So you have to get these in ahead of time. So I'm going to put it down there for that one. I got 3 just to put extra on the second one. And then I'm going to put them all on here. So they all go down here. And that way I can take this end one, put it all the way down on this one here. Now the way this works is the clamp goes like this and the wire goes in here for this type. Now of course they have a sticker here, so I'm going to go just past there and just tighten it up good. So I'm going to put that about as far out as I can get it. Okay, so I got this ground bars all in. So I got one here, hooked the end of the cable right here, 25 foot. And then I got a ground clamp on here, put it on both ends just so it's got good contact. And then, like I said, I got it stubbed in there temporarily on that pole, and that should do the trick. So I didn't really talk about this one too much. This is a conduit I'm running for my internet line, my Ethernet cable. It's coming all the way from over there, same place as the electricity. I have an outdoor antenna set up for my wireless internet. And here for this, I just decided to do a rope because I don't want to have more cables here than I need to. So now this, I was just doing a little filling in by hand just to get this started because it's so rocky. And the thing I want to keep in mind for this too, and I have the string to reference off of for depth, but my footer is going to be 16 inches deep on the outside for my mono slab. So I want to make sure to not put any rocks in there, big rocks that are going to interfere with that later. Alright guys, so I got a roll of caution tape here. This is a 200 footer. You can get them in different lengths. And it's a good idea to run them in the ditch, like towards the top couple of feet, if you can. That way it just warns people that there's something in the ditch. So I'm going to run it here. This is about halfway full, a little over half. Somewhere in the top couple feet, I think, is a good idea to run it. So you hit that before you ever hit any kind of pipe. So yeah, the caution tape I just tied off to this conduit right here since it's close to the ground. It's actually not really applicable till it gets outside the building, so this is where it's going to get down. And I don't have the ditch filled halfway the whole way, but my backhoe, I can't get it out of the building until I get this filled, so that's why I'm going to do this part. Then I'll probably go through, fill the ditch halfway or so all the way, and then put the caution tape in the rest of the way, but it's just a good idea to do that. Okay, well, got the ditch pretty much all roughed in for now. Got the final grade coming later once this settles for a while, but this should get us pretty good for the time being. I packed it down really good, drove over it a bunch where the ditch goes to get it to settle. Overall, I'm really happy how it turned out. It wasn't very easy with the bank on the side there. I couldn't access it from over there, so it took quite a bit of digging with the backhoe to get it dirt spread around. It'd be a lot easier to do it with the front bucket for the most part, but anyway, so this is still a little bit rough looking, but not too bad for this, because the corner of the building is going to come right where that screw is there, in between the stakes, over to that string, so really it's going to come to about here. So I'm going to pack this down really good. I drove over it a bunch with the backhoe, but I'm going to dig most of that back up anyway, in this area, for when I do this footer right here. So anyway, I think the electric ditch is all done for now. Alright, so as you can see, the electrical turned out good as far as placement in the stud bays. Same for the Ethernet line over here. So I'm really happy how this turned out. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for future content. Be on the lookout for the next video coming out, which is going to be digging footers for the mono slab. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.